Hello class, welcome back to your online class. So before we went for Diwali vacation, we were discussing chapter 11 digestive system. We had an introductory class on what is digestive system, what are its different components, right? We were discussing in detail about buccal cavity, we have discussed about mouth, tongue, right? Teeth, structure of teeth in detail. So today we will be discussing about the other part that is present in a buccal cavity and has an important role in digestion, that is your salivary gland. Okay, now salivary gland is responsible for secretion of saliva. Okay, that fluid, liquid, sticky substance that is all the time present in your mouth, that's saliva. So it is secreted by your salivary gland. Salivary gland there are three major parts of a salivary gland or types. Those are your parotid gland, submandibular gland and sublingual gland. Among these, parotid gland is the largest salivary gland. Okay, now your parotid gland is present beneath your ear. I'll give you alongside the visual of where your parotid gland is present. It's present beneath the ear. Okay, and your submandibular gland, it is present in the lower jaw. Okay, near the below your tongue region. And same thing, your sublingual gland is also present just below the tongue. Okay, so all these three, the role of these glands is to secrete saliva. Now let us understand what is saliva. Now coming to the chemical nature of the saliva, saliva is slightly acidic because the pH of saliva is 6.8. Okay, so it's slightly acidic. Coming to the composition of saliva, saliva is made up of 99% water, then it has different salts, then mucus, that stickiness is because of mucus, then it has an enzyme called salivary amylase or also known as ptyalin. Okay, another term for salivary amylase. So your food digestion, that is breaking down of the complex food, starts here in the mouth itself. Okay, but here only your carbohydrate is broken down into the simpler form. Okay, so your salivary amylase converts your starch. As we know, starch is a carbohydrate, right, present in food, right? So it converts the starch, it's a polysaccharide, into maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide, right? It's made up of 2 glucose units. So it converts the starch into simpler form, that is maltose, and further in the other parts of your digestive system, maltose is then going to get converted into glucose so that it can be utilized by the cells of our body. Okay, so your salivary amylase, it converts your starch, okay, present in the food into maltose. Okay, so breakdown of starch here starts in the mouth itself. Okay, so other than this, what are the other function of the saliva? Other than the conversion of the starch into maltose, saliva also helps in moistening the food. Okay, since it's a fluidy substance, so it makes the food soft so that it can be easily swallowed. Okay. Other than that, what it also does is it kills if there is any foreign germs which has entered the body, then it even kills those foreign germs, thus keeping our mouth clean. Okay, and it also acts as a solvent for dissolving different kind of food particles. So these are the major function. Main function is softening of the food, conversion of the starch to the maltose. Okay, and it also does other accessory function like killing the germs or acting as a solvent for the food particles. Okay, so those were the function of the saliva. So that's all about your components of the buccal cavity. Now from the mouth, your food which has softened, broken down into smaller particles, some of the chemical components like starch has been converted into maltose, then goes into the esophagus, also referred to as food pipe. Okay, now keep one thing in mind, in your food pipe, that is esophagus, no digestion of the food occurs. No digestion means the complex components are not broken down into simpler component. Esophagus is just the pathway for the food to move from mouth into the stomach. Okay, so the walls of the esophagus by constricts and relaxes. That movement is known as peristalsis. Okay, so constrict, the walls of the esophagus constricts and relaxes, thus enabling the food to move from the mouth into the stomach. Okay, so here in this esophagus, no digestion of the food occurs. Now next you have stomach. Now we will be discussing about the stomach. Food moves to the stomach. Okay, where is stomach located? It is located below the diaphragm. Okay, it's an elastic pouch-like structure which can hold about 2 to 3 liters of food. Okay, it can hold about 2 to 3 liters of food. Okay, now just if you go to the structure of the stomach, okay, the opening of the stomach, it has a valve like structure which is made up of sphincter muscle, and it is known as cardiac sphincter, which makes sure that after the food moves back to the moves from esophagus to the stomach, it does not reverse back or reverse flow. Okay, in order to prevent that, there is a valve like structure present in the opening of the stomach, that is known as cardiac made up of sphincter muscle, or that's why it's referred to as a cardiac sphincter also. Now at the end of the stomach to the opening of the intestine, there is also a valve like structure which is present and made up of sphincter muscle. It is known as, the end of the stomach is known as pylorus. That's why that valve like structure is known as pyloric sphincter. Okay, what does it? It makes sure that the food is completely churned, only then it moves to the intestine. Okay, while the digestion is taking place in the stomach, that particular valve closes, so that the food after incomplete working in the small stomach, it does not go to the your small intestine, so that your food is completely churned in your stomach, only then it moves to the small intestine, to make sure that valve closes. Okay, so your stomach, the inner lining or inner wall of the stomach secretes an important juice referred to as gastric juice. Now this gastric juice, it is highly acidic because of the presence of hydrochloric acid. Because of the presence of hydrochloric acid, this gastric juice is highly acidic, and it also has other components like salts, water. Okay, now what is and also has one of the enzyme referred to as pepsin. Okay, now coming to the function of the gastric juice, since it has hydrochloric acid, so what does it do is, your gastric juice, if there is any foreign particles that has entered the, any foreign germs that has entered along with the food, it is destroyed with the help of hydrochloric acid, because it's an acid, it is able to destroy anything, right? And the other function of a hydrochloric acid is, in gastric juice, the enzyme is present in the form of pepsinogen. It's an inactive form of an enzyme. Inactive form is converted into active form, that is pepsin, only in the presence of hydrochloric acid. Okay, and your pepsin is a protein digesting enzyme. So what is the function of the pepsin? It converts protein into peptides. Peptides means chain of amino acids. So it is breaking the protein fragments into smaller fragments. Protein into a smaller fragments, that is peptides. Still here the complete conversion of the complex component into the simpler has not occurred. Okay, your protein has to be converted into amino acid here. In stomach digestion, protein digestion also starts. That means your protein is converted into peptides here in the stomach. Okay, so understood what about salivary gland, saliva, its function, and stomach, and what is the role of a gastric juice, right? Next class we will be discussing about the other components of a digestive system, that is small intestine and large intestine. And keep one thing in mind, till here, till stomach, the breakdown of the complex component, that is carbohydrate or your protein, fat digestion has not yet occurred, right? And whatever the starch that was converted into maltose, here protein is being converted into peptide. That means yet it has not been converted into the diffusible form, that is the form which is acceptable by the cell. So next part, that is small intestine, there the complete digestion of the food component occurs. Okay, so the next part, that small intestine, is the most important one. Okay, because here the complete digestion of the food occur, that is the complete digestion of the food into diffusible form, that is the one accepted by the cells, occur here in the small intestine. So in next class we will be discussing in detail about the small intestine and large intestine. Okay, till whatever we have discussed till now, you just go through it, brush it up, okay, so that it becomes easier for you to carry on with me in carry on with the other topics with me. Okay, thank you.